Alright, what's up guys? NinjaDeathStrike here, bringing you some more Pokemon Showdown battles. This is the last battle I had before the tier shakeup, so obviously Tornado's still on my team. He's not allowed anymore, thank God, but I was using him while he was there because he was the best Pokemon in the tier. And I'm pretty sure this is the same team I had last week, so I don't think I need to go over it again. We'll take a look at my opponent's team up here at the top. He does have the Regenerator Core with Tangrowth and then Slowking. One of the slow Pokemon and then Tangrowth are fairly strong core. Regenerator has always been a force in UU since it's been released, and that hasn't changed with this gen. So it was even scarier when Tornadus was around because sometimes half their team would regenerate. Then we have Bad Gengar here in Miss Magus. Tyrantrum is he's not that threatening. I'm not a big fan. Same with Klinklang. I feel like these two don't really contribute a whole lot, so that's nice. And then we have what's most likely a screener here with a Crownable. That's really the only thing that he's effective at. So might have to deal with some screens, but I feel like my team is pretty well matched up against his. He doesn't really have a whole lot that threatens me. The Tangrowth is going to be annoying. Potentially the Miss Magus could sweep me, so that's really the thing that I need to be careful of. But other than that, I'm really not worried about a lot of his guys, so we'll have to get into the match and see how things go. I'm going to lead with Sky Shroud the Tornadus because he's awesome, and then I'm going to die to a crit Ice Fang, so must be Choice Scarfed here on the Tyrantrum. I do think the crit mattered, even with the Strong Jaw. I don't think that Ice Fang kills me without a crit there, just because I had a lot of defensive investment. So that's unfortunate, but then again, it's Tornadus, so we probably deserved it. It is going to give me an essentially free switch into Candlejack here. I can set up a sub, as I know he's not going to be able to stay in. And then I can just start attacking whatever comes in. So Miss Magus comes in, hit it with a Flamethrower, and then hit it with a Shadow Ball. It will survive thanks to the light screen that Crownable set up, but it's not going to do a whole lot other than that. He's going to end up switching out into Tangrowth, as I'm going to have Whisper in. He's going to get Leech Seeded, and I'm basically just going to throw up a Wish and then switch back out. Go into Candlejack as he switches into Tyrantrum, and I go into Boreas the Suicune here. I know that he's Choice Scarfed at this point, and I have a max defense Suicune, so if he goes for Rock Smash, I'll know, and if he goes for anything else, it won't hurt me. And he opts for Dragon Claw. It's not going to do anything. Lets me start setting up, as his team doesn't really have a good way to deal with a Calm Minding Suicune, especially with Rest. It can harass it with things like Leech Seed and screens, but I don't think he ever kills this thing in a million years, outside of maybe Tyrantrum. If he brings Tyrantrum in on a rest turn and then can get a double head smash, that might do it. But Boreas is definitely not scared of Slowking, so I just stay in here and start setting up. If he lets me get the whole way up, then even Tyrantrum's not really going to be able to do a whole lot. He does switch into Tangrowth here. I get the burn on the Scald, which is nice. It's going to kind of limit the amount of things Tangrowth can do. It's going to help fight the Regenerator. But I decide I don't want to stay in, and I switch out even though I had the +3. End up going into Candlejack, hit Slowking with a nice Shadow Ball here, and then stay in because I was fairly sure I'd be able to survive an attack coming back from it, now that I know that it's not a Choice Specs variant. So threatened to take it out, and he's forced to switch out. Goes into Tyrantrum. This time I go into Whisper. He's going to take that Dragon Claw pretty well again. Going to pass a Wish back into Candlejack. Full health again. And I'm just going to start going to town on his team. Go for the Shadow Ball here. Maybe predicting Slowking to come in and wanting to be able to get the 2-hit KO. But he's going to switch the turn after, as I just set up a sub. And again, the light screen's kind of slowing me down a little bit. It is basically forcing me to switch around, but as neither of us have gotten up any entry hazards yet, I'm free to switch as often as I want. So I'm going to go back into Whisper here because I don't care what Slowking wants to do. Whisper's just going to beat it. throw up a wish as he goes for the toxic, which is fine with me. Synchronize is going to poison him. I'm going to heal bell on the switch, get back to full health, and then I get to protect when this Tyrantrum comes in and get to see what it wants to do. And it goes for Stealth Rocks, which is strange on a Choice Scarf set. I've done it before. It's actually not bad, but it is definitely not what I expected. So he does a good job there predicting my protect and getting a free Stealth Rock. Tent Growth is going to come back in. It's going to poison me, or Leech Seed me, which is going to be annoying, force me to switch out. He does predict it and goes for the Earthquake, but he clearly has no attack investment because that does nothing to Candlejack. I mean, it does a lot, but it's a freaking Earthquake on a fire type with no defense investment, so it doesn't do much. It should have just flat out killed me, and it certainly doesn't. So that's cool. I can take it down, break down part of the Regenerator core here, and now I'm feeling pretty good. Get Threesome in on a wish so that I can maintain my Focus Sash, and I get to take out the Miss Magus. Kling Klang is going to shift gear, which is fine with me. That means that Gear Grind's probably coming, and that would have broken my Sash, so I do make the right play here, switch into Boreas, and take a decent chunk for a resisted attack, and then Wild Charge takes me down. So congrats to Kling Klang for actually doing something. I am going to be able to go into Fabio here, Mega Evolve, go for the Volt Switch to take down Kling Klang. I thought he might want to switch out there, but he doesn't. It's fine, though, because it lets me get Mega Ampharos, who's going to be nice and bulky to take on the Slowbro later if I need, or a Slowking later if I need him. He's not really good against the rest of the team, but oh well. Just go for a foul play here. I figured he'd want to switch out. If he goes into Tyrantrum, it just kills him, and it does 50% to Slowking, which is really surprising, since I wouldn't expect Slowking to have that much attack. I mean, even though it's super effective, I don't know. I'll take it, but that's basically going to seal up the game. Tyrantrum's going to come in. He can't kill Whisper. He's going to go down to a foul play, and then it does almost 40% to Chronicle, too, which is crazy. I guess that's just because Chronicle's base defense is like 20. So Whisper is going to close out the game, and it's going to be a pretty handy victory there outside of a couple unfortunate circumstances. So we'll go on to game number 2. I'm going to be up here at the top this time. For some reason, Boreas is shiny now. Not sure how that happened. And my opponent's down here. So we've got a few guys that you see in UU a lot, and a few you don't. Snorlax doesn't get a whole lot of play. Gligar is fairly popular, but doesn't see that much use. Same with Azelf. These guys were really big in 4th gen, but they've kind of fallen by the wayside now. Well, these two anyhow. But then on this side, we have some pretty solid UU guys. Mindshell's a really good scout. Koffagrigus, not as big this gen as he was last gen, but he's still really solid. And the same with Empoleon, just really good typing and solid all-around Pokemon. So both of our teams are pretty defensive with a couple offensive guys to try and close out the game. So this should be an interesting match. Let's go ahead and get into it, see how it goes down. He's going to lead with Ben Affleck, the Gligar. And I'm going to lead with Ampharos. He switches out right away, which is cool with me. I get a free Mega Evolution as he goes into Snorlax. Going to miss the Focus Blast here, which kind of sucks, as it would have been a pretty easy 2-hit KO, I think. I'm not going to want to stand and try it again, though. So I switch out into Boreas. I don't feel overly threatened by this Snorlax at all. Not sure if I start Calm Minding or what. And yeah, I do. And he switches into Empoleon. I get the burn again, so that's nice. And yeah, Empoleon probably just going to roar me out. So rather than trying to set up more, I just go for the attack. That proves to be the right move. Unfortunately for him, he's going to roar me into Ampharos. And I predicted him to switch there, but I guess he's not interested in switching at all. He's just going to Death Fodder this Empoleon. And so he forces me out again. Boreas comes in. I'm not going to bother trying to set up here because I know that he can roar me out. But he switches into Azelf, which immediately signals to me that he's going to try and trick me. So Don't want that to happen. Switch back into Fabio to block the trick thanks to my Mega Stone. Mega Pokemon cannot be tricked. And I just go for the Dragon Pulse. Again, I figured I'd get some damage on whatever it is that comes in. Turns out to be Empoleon, and I finally take it down. But that Empoleon definitely did some work. It got up rocks. It shuffled my team around quite a bit. Ended up putting quite a large amount of passive damage on Ampharos. So good for it. Mineshaw comes in. I'm going to block it with Chandelure. Then he's going to go into Azelf, and I'm going to switch back into Fabio. Basically just as death fodder. I get to see what he chooses to lock himself into here, and he shows me that he's going to pick Shadow Ball. So that means Whisper can come in, set up a Wish for free, see what he wants to do. He's going to go into Gligar and then U-turn out. I'm going to pass a Wish to Sky Shroud, which is sweet. Means that I'm basically going to be able to do whatever I want. So that Stone Edge hurts a lot. You can never be sure if mine shall have Stone Edge. I know mine doesn't, but it is a move they can run, and it is pretty effective. So he's going to trick me a Choice Scarf here, which is fine. Choice Scarf, Tornadus T is fine with me. I don't have that many status moves, so I'm fine just using Acrobatics or Knockoff. He is going to go into his Cofagrigus. I'm going to go into Suicune. We're going to have a setup war here. He's going to Nasty Plot, so that does mean that he'll get his stats maxed before mine. But I don't think he's going to get a big enough advantage to be able to really hurt me. And every time I boost up, I'm getting an offensive and defensive boost, which he's not. So then when I do choose to attack, it's going to do a whole lot of damage. I go for the attack here on the turn before Trick Room ends, knowing that the next turn I'll be faster and I can just take him down. And he's going to try and Toxic me with Ben Affleck, which is cute. It's not going to work. Just going to sleep that off. And now Boreas is just going to take the game because he's not going to be able to break it. So Rest Talk Suicune, really good right now in UU, in my opinion. People just forgot that it exists, and a lot of teams outside of one or two Pokemon are just not prepared to deal with it. So it's not too hard to get it in at a point where it just takes over the game. So that's what's going to happen here, and that's going to wrap up the videos for this week. Hopefully you guys liked them. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Check out the links in the description. I'll obviously have a new team coming, well, not a whole new team, but an adjusted team coming next week because the tier is completely different now and I had to fix it. But I really like this team while I got to use it. I wish I would have gotten a few more videos with it because I feel like it was probably the best UU team that I built for 6th gen so far. But oh well, that's how it goes. That's going to be it for this week. Later, guys.